motorsports. When I used to work in Atlanta, we used to always get garage access. And we actually, at one point, for a couple of years, we had garage access. They're called hot passes. And you could actually go in the middle of practice. And that was just the best, man. To be able to be in the garage when the cars are ripping in and out of the garage area, that was just the coolest. Sunday morning, I have cold passes, but that makes sense because, there's no on-track activity until the race starts anyway. So I'm going to be hitting the road super early. And going up and getting my credentials, and it's just been a long time since I've done that. Here's the funny story I wanted to tell, and then we'll get into just how stupid fast the car is this weekend. I didn't have a ticket for the actual race, I mentioned this on last week's podcast. I was kind of 50-50 on going, and there was a part of me, to be honest, that wanted to stay home and watch just because of all the drama playing out. It's going to be a fantastic race to watch, just from the standpoint of who gets in, who doesn't, and there's going to be a lot of storylines playing out. Now, if you're watching live at the track, you can always, I use my scanner, I can always tune into PRN or MRN, whoever, I think it's PRN is doing the race this weekend. Or you can actually tune into the actual broadcast feed to hear the commentary. And, at home I can do both. I can listen to Dale Jr. and I can do that. At the race, it's a little bit more difficult to do that. So I wasn't sure that I was going to go, so I didn't buy a ticket. So I ended up getting all these media credentials, and I decided, I need to get a ticket. Well, they sold out. So I actually called to Phoenix International Raceway, because sometimes they go and release tickets, and they weren't releasing any tickets. And even the Hillside had sold out, so I'm like, well, shoot. I couldn't tell you the last time I went and I purchased tickets from a third-party vendor, right? Who does that these days? So I checked StubHub and wasn't really finding anything on StubHub that I wanted. And so I ended up going to this website. This is a total gamble. I just lucked out. I went to this website, and it was like discount price savers tickets.eu. Okay, it wasn't quite that bad, but it was just this third-party website. I did a scam check on the website to make sure that it had a good rating, and there were a few complaints, but nothing that really stuck out. And this scam website ended up giving it a green rating, which meant it was a safe site to use. They had, now if you've been to any NASCAR race, depending on the track, usually the higher up in the grandstands you go, the more expensive the tickets are. Okay, so when you're going through a third-party website, you're going to get the other charge tacked onto it so that they make money, right? Okay. So they had tickets down low, and most of the ones down in the first 5 or 6 rows were running for $47 or so. I think that was the cheapest. And at Phoenix, it kind of sucks, because if you get down in those first 4, 5, 10 rows, you really don't get a great view of the whole track. They have the big fan view screens, but you really want to be at least 15, 16 or higher up in the grandstands there. And I was like, well, shoot, at the end of the day, I'm going to go anyway, so maybe I'll just go ahead and bite the bullet and get some tickets down in front. I've been there a bunch of times. I'm not really missing out. I'm going to be listening on the scanner. So, it's not like I haven't been there before. And really, I'm going this year, not just to watch Junior run, but, to go to the garage. And I'll have pictures up on my Twitter feed for sure, and my Instagram as well. And I'll give all that information out at the end of the podcast. So anyway, long story long, they had, in the petty section coming off of turn 4, and really you can't get a bad seat in the house, regardless of where you are. I mean, if you're up high, you can see the entire track. And actually, I like turn 4 from a Dale Jr. fan standpoint, because usually turns 3 and 4 is where Jr. gets hooked up, and that's where he usually makes the majority of his passes going into the corner. So I ended up getting in the petty grandstand in turn 4. Top row, 43, they had the ticket for $22. One ticket. Now, what was funny is that they had other tickets that high up in the same section or next door running for over $100. So I bought it. I'm like, well, this is a, gamble. I have no idea if they screwed up or what. And I was really expecting that I was going to end up getting, a cheaper ticket, or it was going to be a scam and I wouldn't get my ticket at all. And I, not that I want to waste money, But, I'd gone through my paces of making sure this was a legitimate website, so I felt like, well, look, it's on me if they end up scamming me, and I'll deal with it if it happens. And if the worst comes to worst, I'll go to the racetrack, I'll go, to the garage, and maybe I'll wander around and try to find an open seat or whatever. Turns out, though, I got the ticket in the mail, and it was legit. I got my petty QQ seat, and I'm in row 43, and it was $22. The ticket price was $107. And so the only thing that I can figure is that it was midweek. It was like Wednesday when I purchased it. The only thing that I can figure is that they must have discounted the ticket because it was the last one and they wanted to get rid of it. That's the only way that I could figure that I ended up getting it. So they overnighted it, and I got the ticket in the mail yesterday, and I'm all set to go. So it ended up, things never work that way, right? It always goes the other way. Usually get a call, oh, we're sorry, that ticket was, for the Thursday races that nobody goes to, and I was, that kind of, nope, I got the ticket, and it's legit. And I've seen enough tickets to know whether or not it's bootleg, and it's not. So cool. I got a great seat, and I'm going to the garage on Sunday, which is awesome because Dale Jr. has a hot rod. He ended up qualifying third, and through both the practices today, the car is stupid fast. In the final practice, he was second he was second in best 10 consecutive lap averages, only second behind Jimmy Johnson. And when you look at the guys that I'm really looking out for, who I'm worried about, it would be most likely Kevin Harvick. And he was down, sixth in the 10-lap averages. You've got Jimmy Johnson, Dale Jr., Kurt Busch, Kyle Larson, Kyle Busch, boy, tongue twister, Kevin Harvick, Carl Edwards, Truex, Kane, Keselowski. He's got a shot to win this thing on Sunday. When Dale Jr. qualifies that good, when the pressure isn't there, when the team comes off of a race that they, for all intents and purposes, should have won last week in Texas if Dale Jr. hadn't smacked the wall, and the car is this fast in practice, and he's starting up front, barring any of the, mistakes that can be made, the third place qualifying spot gives him an amazing pick on pit road, which is crucial at Phoenix. It's a short race, so if he can keep it up there, he's obviously got a shot. So as long as they don't make any mistakes, he has the car to win it. When Dale Jr. sits up this high and he's consecutive on all this, this is when I go, yeah. It's weird because while I'm an Uber fan of Dale Jr., right? And I do believe he's a great race car driver. I don't think he's the best. He doesn't have a championship yet. Arguably there are guys that are in the garage that are more consistent. I think he has improved drastically. I think he's in the top 5, absolutely the top 10 of the best drivers in the garage, but I put him in the top 5. But he's not necessarily known for qualifying poorly, practice doesn't look well, and then really rising to the top. That doesn't really happen. When he's fast and he's got the confidence, because I think for Dale Jr., a lot of it is about the confidence. That's when I go, dude, we have a chance to own this. And he has a chance to own this race tomorrow. Based off of qualifying, practice, confidence, and the pressure's off. 2 races left. And we know he's been really good at Miami the past couple of years as well. Under the old system, had he made it through, right? You knock on the particle board of my desk. But, had he made it through last year, he probably would have, or he would have won the championship. I think that's how the numbers broke down. So I got a really, really good, feeling. I got a really good feeling about tomorrow's race. And I'll tell you what, I'm just jazzed because, for me, not to gloat, no, but, as a fan, I'm going, man, this is going to be the perfect situation. This is going to be a great day tomorrow. Not only do I get to get up there early and check out the garage, but he's got a really fast car, and I have the opportunity to be there when he wins a race. And I haven't been to a race that Dale Jr.'s won in 2005. I saw him win at Atlanta and I saw him win a couple of the races during the Talladega stretch when he won those 4 in a row. I saw a couple of those. So that's how long it's been since I've been to a live race and Dale Jr.'s won it. I can't even imagine how cool it would be to be there tomorrow at that track in my home state to see Dale Jr. put that beautiful blue Nationwide 88 in victory lane. But that's what I am going to predict is going to happen. And I'll tell you what, if he does, I'll do what I said I was going to do earlier in the season, and that is record a post-race podcast. But seeing that we're at the end of the year, if Dale Jr. wins it, I will record another podcast in honor of the victory and share my story for anybody that wants to hear it. So there you go. I'm predicting a win, mostly because I'm going to be there tomorrow. No, mostly because he's got a really, really fast car. And he's even said so on Twitter. On his Twitter feed, he actually posted a photo of their lap average screen in the garage showing how quick he was with a thumbs up. He knows he's got a hot rod there tomorrow. So the pit crew just needs to have a great day and not have any problems. And Kevin Harvick needs to not be fast because that was not a fun race to watch last year because Kevin Harvick was so fast. So, all right, that's it. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram, Jon, John Justice. On Instagram, it's the John Justice, not because I'm egotistical, just because somebody else already took John Justice. So the John Justice on Instagram. And hopefully I can get some of those photos up early in the morning, just because at Phoenix, once the crowd gets there, you cannot get an internet signal to save your life, just because there's so many people online. So hopefully early enough in the morning, I'll be able to get those photos up and posted online during my trip in the garage early tomorrow morning. And hopefully you'll hear from me again, say Monday, with a post-race Dale Jr. victory podcast. Until then, thank you so much for listening. For those that have been with the podcast since the beginning of the year and continue to listen to it every week, thank you. I do it because I'm a fan of Junior and I love broadcasting. And like I've always said, this is the podcast that I would want to listen to, which is why I started doing it. And I'm really proud of the fact that there's a nice audience, a nice, healthy-sized audience that takes time to go and download and listen to the podcast every week, and it's just cool. I just think it's a cool thing. Don't do it for the money. I'm obviously not making any money off of it. It's just cool, and hopefully you get something out of it and enjoy listening to it as much as I enjoy recording it. So until next week, or hopefully Monday, I hope you have a fantastic week. If you want to email me, Justice and the numbers 1041, justice1041@gmail.com. Again, find me on Instagram, Facebook as well, Jon Justice, and Twitter. And until we talk to you, hopefully Monday, if not then next week at the final race of the season in Miami, go Junior.
My Nerd World.
And finally, for the most unusual pre-race prayers you will ever hear.
Heavenly Father, we thank you tonight for all your blessings. You said in all things give thanks. So we want to thank you tonight for these mighty machines that you've brought before us. Thank you for the Dodges and the Toyotas. Thank you for the Fords. And most of all, we thank you for Roush and Yates partnering to give us the power that we see before us tonight. Thank you for Jim Performance Technology and the RO7 engines. Thank you for Sunoco Racing Fuel and Goodyear tires to bring performance and power to the track. Boogity, 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 amen. Boogity, 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 amen. Bless the drivers unusual tonight. Boogity, 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 amen. Lord, I want to thank you for my smoking hot wife tonight, Lisa. And my two children, Eli and Emma. Partners, we like to call them the Little E's. Lord, I pray you bless the drivers unusual tonight. May they put on a performance worthy of this great track. In Jesus' name. Boogity, 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 amen. Boogity, 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 amen. Boogity, 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 amen. Bless the drivers unusual tonight. Lord, I want to thank you for my smoking hot wife. Boogity, 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 amen. Boogity, 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 amen. Bless the drivers unusual tonight. Lord, I want to thank you for my smoking hot wife.
My Nerd World.